let's talk about what happened at the first start of the British Grand Prix, which was the crash we talked about, Zhou Guanyu's horrific crash, ending up, as you said, Alex, over the barrier. And we saw we haven't got any footage here, of course, but we saw, this is when it started to happen, George Russell tapped the back of it. I was very surprised that when the car went sideways, it flipped. Were you?
Yeah, I was. It just, the perfect storm, I guess, just went straight over the wheel of Russell, and that pitched him up. I was surprised to see the roll hoop come off so easily. That's normally not supposed to happen. In my day, or not my, yeah, even my day, or even 10 years ago, we used to see these horrific barrel rolls, and the roll hoop would always stay intact. And I don't know why the roll hoop came off so easily this time. Maybe because the cars are a lot heavier. And if that's the case, then they need to strengthen up that strength of the roll hoop. Because, okay, there's a secondary prevention device there, which is the halo. And obviously the halo is what really saved his life. But still, you don't want to just leave it to the halo. You need that roll hoop to be strong as well. And Matt, I have a question for you. Do you think that accident could have been avoided in any sense? Because it really wasn't. Was it Russell's fault or was it Gasly's fault?
I thought it was well, I don't know. I think maybe Russell's because Gasly was going into the gap, wasn't he? And he saw the gap closing, and he got out of it. But unfortunately, in a sense, almost the getting out of it's what caused Russell's wheel to tap his wheel, and it just flicked Russell into the side of. So I think if anybody, it was Russell who didn't appreciate how much faster Gasly was going. The good news, of course, is that nobody was hurt, particularly Zhou Guanyu, who was starting inside the top 10. Here he is. He's tweeted to say he's okay. Halo saved me today. And that's great news, obviously, the most important thing. He was starting inside the top 10 for the second race in a row, having out-qualified his teammate 3 races in a row. He's really doing a terrific job, and it's a shame he didn't get a chance to do 52 laps today.
Yeah, and I agree, Matt. We were saying about how Zhou's had a really good start of the year, but he needs to start pushing on at some point, maybe halfway through the year, and start qualifying his teammate. He's starting to do that now, isn't he? So it's like the return of the second drivers is starting to happen.
There's a tweet we've got here from Jamie Price, the photographer, who's saying, not really a question, it's a statement. F1 red flag rules are bullshit. You pause the race and you should pause everything. And it's a debate that's been going on for a while, isn't it? Because the race hadn't really started, and the cars are in the pits and they're changing tyres, they're repairing the cars and so on. I mean, personally, I have a different view to Jamie, which is that I want as many cars in the race as possible, and I think they should have allowed, I know they shouldn't have allowed, but I think I would have liked a situation where George Russell would have been allowed to take the restart and get as many cars back on the track as possible, really.
Yeah, but I understand why they couldn't allow it. I mean, it's a hard rule, isn't it? If you get outside existence, that car's not allowed to start. So there's no way in a million years they're going to let Russell start again. It's kind of amused that he tried to make it happen. But that's another thing that I thought was ludicrous, actually. Maybe I'm being cynical. Was George Russell getting out of the car to try and help Zhou? Because for me, this is not. We're not in Nordschleife, where the next marshal post is 2 kilometers away, and there's no fire marshals and anything. What does he possibly think he can do to help Zhou?
Yeah,
the marshals are there, the fire guys are there, the doctors are there. Does Russell know how to remove an injured driver? Does he know how to support the neck and put in a splint? He'll just get in the way. So why he did that just flabbergasted me. Maybe he wanted to be seen to be caring, but there's absolutely nothing he could have done.
Well, I think, Alex, because you asked the question, who caused the accident? And I think you've touched it there, which is that George probably felt somewhat responsible because he's moving left. And the next thing he knows is there's an Alfa Romeo upside down and sliding on its roof towards the barrier and almost into the crowd. So I think he was feeling guilty. And I think he probably was thinking, oh dear, what have I done? But I think you're right. I mean, the memo should be, it's not 1972. You don't need to try and save the other drivers from crashed cars anymore, thankfully.
Yeah, just get in the way. But then it cost the team a chance to have a second car there, Yeah, because he could have driven that car back.
It's a very good point, because that was, he was the only person to have scored points in every single race. The only person of 21, because don't forget Nico Hülkenberg raced earlier in the year, the only one to have scored points, the only person to finish in the top 5 every race. And as you say, he kind of gave it up himself by turning a little bit of bad luck into not being able to start the race proper.